What is going on, PrizePicks family, and welcome back to another video. For this video, I'm going to be bringing you guys a Super Bowl board breakdown video. It's a video that I'm super pumped to make. It's something that I've been just through my research. I'm getting all excited for this game now. Like I don't know. This is the best Super Bowl you could have asked for. I feel like between the Chiefs and the Bucks. I mean, two great teams, two well-coached teams. It should just be a great game, full of points as well. I'm pumped for this game, and I'm excited to bring you guys this video. I'm a little bit sad that it's the last NFL video I'll be making for a while, and obviously the end of our NFL season. But the season's never over at PrizePicks. You can obviously play any sport we have on the board, pretty much any sport you could think of. So I anticipate you guys are already well aware of that, and we'll be getting all your NBA, college basketball, hockey, golf, MMA action over here on PrizePicks as well. So before we jump into this video, let me go ahead and announce the winner of last video's giveaway. So the winner of that giveaway is going to be Greg Morrell. Greg, congrats. Appreciate all the support you've shown on these videos. You're going to win a free 5-pick flex to win $100. All you got to do is DM me on Twitter at reallyaddy or send me an email, addy@prizepicks.com, and I will load that into your account ASAP. We're going to be running the same giveaway for this video, except I'm going to up the prize a little bit just because it's a Super Bowl video. We got to go big. So I'm going to give away a free 5-pick flex to win $150. All you got to do is leave a like, leave a comment, and make sure you're subscribed. If you could, share this video with a friend, a family member, post it to your social medias. That also would mean a lot. We're still trying to get that subscriber count up over here at PrizePicks, but so far so good, and I've really enjoyed making these videos for y'all, and the support you guys have shown honestly has been well more than what I was expecting. So I genuinely appreciate that. But yeah, if you want to be entered in that giveaway, just leave a like, leave a comment, make sure you're subscribed, and I'll go through and pick a winner during next video. With that being said, let's jump into this board breakdown. So obviously we have single stat over here at PrizePicks now. I introduced it in a video, and I also made a couple prior videos where we went over a couple single stats. So for this board breakdown, I'm going to have 3 picks, 3 fantasy score picks, and then 3 single stat picks as well. So we'll start with the fantasy score picks. So the first guy I want to start with is the first guy you see on the board, and that is one Patrick Mahomes, over 25.5 fantasy points. This one for me is fairly straightforward. As I've mentioned in these videos that we're making since the playoffs have started, we have done like a few videos on the Bucks, a few videos on the Chiefs, so we have a good idea of what these teams are in addition to the regular season. And what we know from the Bucks defense is that this is a pass funnel defense. I've said it before. Teams pass versus the Bucks over 71% of the time. That is a top 5 rate in the league. That's a sort of a twofold kind of thing. One, the Bucks have an elite run defense. They didn't even have Vita Vea most of these playoffs, and now he's back as well. So this run defense is amazing, and it's only going to get better as well. And then this pass defense is a little bit shaky. They're way better. They've been way better in the playoffs, but coming into this season, coming into the playoff, they're the 21st ranked pass defense in the league. And while they have been better, the personnel just isn't good enough to keep up with the offensive weapons that the Chiefs have. So I anticipate the Chiefs throwing the ball over 70% of the time in this matchup, in a favorable matchup. Patrick Mahomes at a lot of books, he's a huge favorite to throw 3 touchdowns, about -150 at most books that I could find. So if you just pencil him in for 3 touchdowns, that's 12 fantasy points on PrizePicks, 4 fantasy points per touchdown. And then personally, I have him projected for 340 yards passing. I know his single stat projection on our site is sitting at around 325, and that's pretty in line with a lot of other sports books out there. I personally have him projected at around 340, and I think this could be one of those days where he just racks up like 375 passing yards, one of those Mahomes-esque games that we've seen a lot from him. So if you take those 300 passing yards on PrizePicks, is another 12 fantasy points. So now you're looking at 24 fantasy points. You give him 40 more passing yards, that's another fantasy point. You're looking at 25 fantasy points. And this Bucks defense has an elite pass rush, and something a little conundrum with having an elite pass rush is that you do create a lot of running lanes for quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes is already projected for around 21 rushing yards, which is 2.1 fantasy points. Which will easily get him over that 25.5 mark. But we could also see him surpass that number as well if he does find a couple lanes. I mean, this dude is capable of busting like a 25, 30-yard rush. He's got the legs for it. He's got the IQ for it as well. So I think we could see that happen, and I'm really interested in this Patrick Mahomes over as well. Another fantasy score prop that I like a lot is Leonard Fournette over 14. I also have a single stat projection with him because I'm really high on this matchup for playoff Lenny. I think this is a playoff Lenny type game. So first off, let's talk about PPR. This is a points per reception site on PrizePicks. You get 1 point per catch. Leonard Fournette over the last 2 weeks has led this team in catches, and he's second on the team in targets. He's got I believe 5 catches in back-to-back games. He's running a ton of routes for these guys, and we've seen Tom Brady tend to rely on his running back, especially given that he's losing a little bit of arm strength the later he gets in his career. But we've seen him often throw the ball to running backs in big games like James White, etc. So yeah, I do think this is a matchup that we see Leonard Fournette thrive in. And another way that he could get there is the fact that this weakness on this Chiefs defense is their run defense. I mean, their pass defense has been pretty good all season, but this run defense has ranked in the bottom 10 for majority of the season. And obviously, while they've been a little bit better in the playoffs, this is still the place that you want to try and attack them. And if they can establish a successful running game, then they're also going to keep Patrick Mahomes off the field for a majority of the time. And that's huge. If the Bucs want to win this game, they're going to have to win the time of possession battle, and winning the time of possession battle is going to happen by running the ball with Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones. Leonard Fournette, I think we could see him push 12 to 13 carries in this game, let alone what I have been projected at for 4 catches and just about 40 yards. So if he's going to get 4 catches, 40 yards, that's 8 points right there. He's essentially a flip to score a touchdown. That's another 6, and that's 14. Without even factoring in 12 to 13 rushing attempts, he could easily rack up 50, 60 yards on the ground and really surpass this number pretty easily. So I'm going to be interested in hammering this Leonard Fournette over. Just think this number is about 1 or 2 points too low for my liking. The last fantasy score prop that I'm going to take is going to be the under on Daryl Williams. Again, we talked about PrizePicks being a PPR site, and a guy who is not running a lot of routes for this Chiefs offense is Daryl Williams. He was running a few when Clyde Edwards-Helaire was injured, a few when Clyde Edwards-Helaire came back but was still a bit banged up, and then Le'Veon Bell was out as well. But now that Clyde Edwards-Helaire is back and healthy, fully over all those injuries he sustained towards the end of the regular season, and Le'Veon Bell is going to suit up for this game, we could see Daryl Williams' snap count drop from what it's at right now, around 46%. We could see it drop into the low 40s, maybe mid to high 30s. And of those, majority of the stuff is going to come in the trenches, just running the ball up the gut. Like I mentioned, this is a pass funnel defense, though. We're going to see the Chiefs throw the ball over 71% of the time. So I just don't think there's going to be a lot of volume for him on the ground. It's a similar reason why we faded and we wanted the under on Aaron Jones last video I made, and that one hit. Obviously, he did get a little bit banged up in that game, so I'm not going to take all the credit for that. But it's the same thing. We see teams over and over and over again just switch to the pass versus this Bucs team. Once they try and run the ball a little bit, no success, they're just going to switch to the pass. And this Chiefs offense isn't one of those offenses that needs to establish the run to give credit to the run so that they can open up their passing game. They could never run the ball once and play action would still work for them because of how dynamic this passing offense is. So I'm not worried about them feeling as though they have to establish the run. And essentially with this Daryl Williams number, you're just fading a touchdown here. And he's over plus 200 to score a touchdown. So, he's over 2-1 to score a touchdown. And he's not going to hit this number just from catches and rushes alone. He's going to need like 70 yards on the ground if he's going to even pick up a catch. And I just don't see any of that stuff happening. So I want to take the under on him in this matchup for sure. So let's move on to some single stat picks because these are fun. And obviously, as you guys know, you can combine your fantasy score entries with your single stat entries. So go crazy for this Super Bowl and have fun. Honestly, this is going to be a fun game to sweat. But a couple single stats that I like. Let's talk about one guy that I already mentioned just so I can sort of get him out of the way. And that's going to be the over on receptions for Leonard Fournette. It's sitting here at 3.5. Majority of the books that you look at, 3.5, the over is pretty juiced. Like it's like minus 130, minus 135. So the fact that you can just throw this in your entry kind of juice free is it's pretty cool. So I'm going to take the over on Leonard Fournette. I think this is a 5-catch game for Leonard Fournette. And that could be the floor. I think Tom Brady's going to check down a lot to him and really try and make him a part of this offense. Like I mentioned, 5 catches in back-to-back games. So his playoff sample size is 100% for hitting this prop. So I think he's going to have at least 4 catches minimum, and obviously that's going to be enough to hit the over in this matchup. With that being said, let's get on to a couple of these Chiefs guys. So I want the over on Travis Kelce's receptions, 8.5. It's a high number. This number is sitting at 7.5 at a lot of books, but the over is super juiced, like -150, -160. A lot of money coming into the over on these Travis Kelce receptions. So I'm in line with that. I think what we're going to see in this matchup from the Bucs defense is a lot of cover two. I think they saw what happened in the last matchup in the regular season where Tyreek Hill had 200 yards at halftime. And I think they're going to say to themselves, we are not letting this guy get behind us. Teams versus the Chiefs have an average safety depth of 14 feet, which is 14 yards, which is the highest average safety depth in the league. And I think that's going to be quite in line with what we see in this matchup. They're just going to try to not get beat over the top, and that's going to leave a lot of space across the middle in that short middle range for guys like Travis Kelce, Clyde Edwards-Helaire out of the backfield, a lot of these low average depth of target guys. And I just think this is a 10-catch game for Travis Kelce waiting to happen. His primary matchup in this spot is going to be Devin White, who, off the top of the head, I mean, Devin White's one of the best linebackers in the league, but Pro Football Focus gave him a coverage grade of 46.9, which is in the bottom half of linebackers with his amount of snaps. So not a great coverage linebacker. He's obviously got the speed to keep up with Travis Kelce, but a lot of that speed is after Travis Kelce's already caught the ball. So I think we could see Travis Kelce easily rack up 10 catches here, low A-dot catches, just keep the chains moving, and we could see him have drives here where he has 3-4 catch drives. And once he starts putting that stuff together, coupled with the increased touchdown equity as well as increased catch equity in the red zone, I just think this is the number that Travis Kelce hits majority of the time, and I'm going to be interested in taking the over here as well. And then the last single stat entry I want the over on Tyreek Hill's receiving yards. I know what I just mentioned. These guys are going to do whatever they can to keep Tyreek Hill in front of them. I didn't say it was going to work, though. Like, it's Tyreek Hill. I mean, he had 200 yards receiving versus these guys at halftime last game. Halftime. I mean, before they took the foot off the gas. Who knows what he could have done in the second half if they kept going. So there's another key stat here that I mentioned a couple videos ago when I was talking about taking the over on a Tyreek Hill prop. Forgot who they were playing in that matchup. Maybe the Browns, something. But basically, Tyreek Hill is averaging about 88 yards per game receiving, but in games decided by 7 or fewer points, he's averaging 105.3 yards per game. So what does that mean? That means that this game has a 3.5-point spread, which is well within the 7-point difference, and we can anticipate him easily going over 100 yards here. When the Chiefs beat their opponents by more than a touchdown, Tyreek Hill's average receiving yards per game drops to the low 60s, 62.6 exactly. So that's almost like a 40-yard difference, whether or not the Chiefs win by a touchdown or more. So I think this is going to be a game where the Bucs keep it close. The Chiefs are going to be throwing the ball endlessly. Again, I've talked about this Bucs defense being a pass funnel, so the volume is going to be there. And it's not like he has to get beat behind them in order to turn a catch up field for a bunch of yards. We've seen this guy take screen passes to the house. We've seen him take slants to the house. Once he gets the ball in his hands, he's a threat to just pick up all these receiving yards on one play. So I'm just going to keep taking the over on him while it's below 100. So getting it at 94.5 makes a lot of sense to me, and it's something that I'll be looking forward to taking advantage of this Super Bowl. So with that all being said, that's 6 picks for you guys. 3 single stat, 3 fantasy score props. To recap, I want the over Leonard Fournette, 14 fantasy points, over Patrick Mahomes, 25.5 fantasy points, and under on Daryl Williams, under 9 fantasy points. And then I want the over on Leonard Fournette, 3.5 catches, the over on Travis Kelce, 8.5 catches, and then I want the over on Tyreek Hill's receiving yards at 94.5. With all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. That'll do it for our NFL videos this season. Super, super excited to already bring these back next season for you guys. But in the meantime, expect a lot of NBA board breakdowns, NHL board breakdowns, and some other really cool content from us over here at PrizePicks. So thank you guys so much for supporting this channel. Again, please do leave a like, comment, and subscribe to be entered into that giveaway. And just to show some love. Showing love never hurts. And yeah, enjoy your Super Bowl Sunday. Enjoy the big game. And I will see y'all next video. Peace.